Okay, we're...
So, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning. We're lecture with Harif. As you probably know, but in case you don't, Harif is the UK Association of Jews from the Middle East and North Africa. We're a small group of volunteers, and we aim to raise awareness of the history and culture of these Jews. Do visit our website, which is www.harif.org. Sign up to our mailing list if you're not already there. And do visit our sister website, Point of No Return blog, which keeps you up to date with the news. This event is being live streamed to the Harif Facebook page, and it is also being recorded. So we will have we will upload the recording to the Harif YouTube channel, which now has over 50 videos on it for you to see at your leisure. If you have any questions or observations, please do type them in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. And I think that's it for housekeeping. So on with our wonderful event tonight. Our event tonight is called Refugee Rebel, sorry, Rebel, Healer, and Peacebuilder. And this is a very good description of our speaker tonight, Dr. David Gerbi. David Gerbi was born in Tripoli in Libya and was forced to leave with his family in 1967 following the Six-Day War, in fact, in June 1967. And at that time, he was 12 years old. He internalized the lessons of helplessness, as most refugees do, but eventually, fate and his own determination drove him to take action. In 2011, he went to Libya during the revolution, where he worked with victims of psychological trauma. He returned to Tripoli with the intention of restoring the main synagogue, which had been desecrated and bricked up. Although he had his life threatened numerous times, he continues to this day to reconcile or to seek to reconcile the exiled Libyan Jewish community with the new government of Libya. He has met Muammar Gaddafi, who was the leader of Libya for decades, I think it was. He has also met American congressmen and a Nobel laureate. So Dr. Gerbi is a Jungian psychoanalyst. He lives in Rome, and he also served as the World Organization of Libyan Jews representative to the Libyan National Transitional Council. He's been a witness for peace for the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in Rome. And in 2007, he was nominated by the UNHCR as Ambassador for Peace in South Africa. So without further ado, welcome, benvenuto, buonasera, David, and over to you.
First of all, thank you, Lynn, for inviting me, and I'm glad to be here and to share my story and to talk about this issue that is not only my issue, but is an issue that we bring every century. When we read the Haggadah, we say, Bechol dor vador omdim alenu lechalutenu ve'akadosh baruch hu tatzilenu miyadam. And in every generation, they try to eliminate us, but at the end, God save us. So the story, it's in all the Jewish holidays that we have, in Purim, in Hanukkah, in Pesach, and during also the fasting now that is coming, destruction of first, second temple. So all this is about how the Jewish continue in spite of all the adversity to still be alive after almost 6,000 years. So before I start, I like to invite you, Lynn, to read the two quotes, which has the motivation that pushed me to tell my story and to have this kind of sharing conversation with the people that are interested about the exile wound and the neurosis of the exile and finding home. So please, I ask Lynn, she's my actress tonight, to read it, please. Thank you again.
Okay. No, thank you, David. I'll try and put on my actressy voice. If surviving lions don't tell their stories, the hunters will get all the credit. What a good quote that is. I'm going to keep it. The second quote, which David has asked me to read, is by Carl Jung. I feel very strongly that I am under the influence of things or questions which were left incomplete and unanswered by my parents and grandparents and more distant ancestors. It often seems as if there were an impersonal karma within a family which is passed on from parents to children. It has always seemed to me that I had to answer questions which fate had posed to my forefathers and which had not yet been answered, or as if I had to complete or perhaps continue things which previous ages had left unfinished. Okay. So back to you, David. Thank you.
Why I like the first quote and the second one. The first is because if we stay silent, we don't tell the story. If we don't do like Harif is doing and other organization, then the hunters will get the credit. So we need to get our voice, our story out for the next generation in order for us to remember and to tell the story. And the second one is an inner work that I did it as a psychoanalyst, because normally if you would ask what's happened to the grandparents, they would say, well, war, they simplify what is really complicated. So it was not so easy to get all the information, because as a psychoanalyst, to go and to travel with them in an inner journey, to ask the questions that has inside on this question, the pain and the wound, is like reopen the wound again. And so it's like re-traumatize again. So it's depend how you do. So this is why for me, it's the second quote is also important. If not, it's like we are living under a trauma that is passed from generation to generation, and we know that exists this theory, then we are not aware of it. Like I spoke today with one man that lives in Israel. I'm doing some interview in Italian for the museum, and he told me that he was so surprised when he saw his son, that he lives in Israel, that he was just talking in a bold way with a policeman. And I say, why? I say, I can never do this. I grow up in Libya, where when you see a uniform, you immediately are freezing from fear. So this is why it's important to elaborate in order to move forward. I don't mean to tell that everybody needs to do a healing therapy because of the trauma of what we have been passed through, because there are people that they just overcome this with other way. But it's important to be aware that if it was a wound, that this wound need to be considered. And one of the way is by allow the people to tell the story, as you're doing with this great work, because when sharing the story, it has it as a stage, is this, we call it the stage of confession. When you share, it's already a healing part, because instead of being inside, all the thinking, the memory, the reflection, the emotion all melt in a chaos, you make order and try to find then a meaning, and the meaning create reconciliation, and then you can move forward. So this is just how I see it, the reason why I am happy that exists organization like Harif.
Thank
So,
you.
and your excellent book that uprooted that say everything. So I would like to share the story, and then to leave also place to question. I will show some video and some part of telling, storytelling. I born in Tripoli, and in 1967 I will show you what's happened through the video. There is also a translation, is in Italian national television, but there is a subtitle that you can see what suddenly happened in 1967 in Tripoli, where I was living. I show you just very quickly the family, my family. This is my father, my mother, and we just arrived. Can you see this? Or
Yes, we can.
okay.
Perfect.
Okay, this is my family, mother, father, and we are 4 brothers and 2 children. This one is me, and then this is the house where we live. Is like in a wealthy area. It's called Galleria de Bono. So it was quite nice.
Beautiful.
It was like this has been built during the fascist time, the colony, the Italian. Those are like my grandparents from the father's side, Miriam and Eliau. This is my grandparents of my mother's side. This is David, and this is Rubina. It's a nice story about her. She's the model of my life. Didn't expect to talk about her, but it's really nice because she didn't fear no one. It was they have a curfew. You could not go there, and the mother of my grandfather died. She said, I don't care about no one. I will go myself with the rabbi and to bury her, even if they're gonna. So she went, she did the funeral, and she came back. She didn't care. She arrived in Italy with the old style clothing, and she arrived in Italy. She made a trip with the husband in the 50s, and she took out all the traditional clothing, you know, the one that you cover like that, and she came dressed modern. It was a scandal in Libya, in the Jewish community.
But obviously a fearless lady.
Yeah. So this is, I'm moving now to what's happened in 1967. Until then, in 1967, we had a life that is apparently was a nice life, but it was really we were dhimmi citizen. We were discriminated. It was Libya was an apartheid state, but without saying. So every Jew, as you know, if they would make business, the 51% would go to an Arab, even without putting nothing, and 49 to the Jew. And they would choose after that this case would grow, they would choose just any lie to say that he stole or did something in order for them or to kill him or to put in prison, or he need to run away, and the other person would take everything. So it's like the Jew has been like used in order to build up everything. And when it's all, the food is ready, they will take the food and they will eat it, and they or will kill the people or will let them run away to save their life. This is the psychological model. how they would act. But meanwhile, the Jew they were feeling that like they have a servant in the house, they have the black Jew, the black Muslim Arab that they were living in the south in Fezzan, they were good with the Jews. They didn't have any discrimination. And the Amazigh is another minority, because in Libya you had the Amazigh until now, that they what they call a Berber.
Yes.
They have Jewish roots that they've been forced to convert to Islam. In the north, that still have a very big synagogue with the sculpture of the letter of in the synagogue. It's the second synagogue that's still in Libya. So those are the Amazigh, the Berbers. They have their own flag. They're in many countries. You have it in Morocco, in Tunisia. So they lost the war and they lost their country, but as a tribe, they still exist. Then you have the Tabu, another minority in the south, and then you have the Tuarega, the famous Tuarega, yes, that they are like Amazigh of the desert. And then you have the Sharkis, that they don't talk about the Sharkis. Sharkis are the original Turkish that they come in during the Ottoman Empire. They still stay there. And they have mostly they are in Misrata. So this is also the reason why the Turkey came in Misrata to make agreement, because by being so many Kabilas, tribe, they have connection from generation outside and inside Libya. So this is how the Erdogan had such an impact on Libya, because there is this kind of way that is like, I know the cousin, I know the uncle, I know the brother or the sister. So this is how they really create this interconnection that give them power. And so this is how it's worked there. So this is another minority. Then there is the Jewish minority. We were 38,000, and then in 1967 we remained 5,000. It was a pogrom in 45 and the pogrom in 48, and the last one, it was in 67, where all the Jews went away because Nasser just encouraged all the Libyan to kill the Jew with the radio, and then he say that he really won the war. They are in Tel Aviv, so they all came suddenly. This is what I don't like about. I don't generalize, but I saw that this is common, that they suddenly change from being a colleague, from being friends, from being. They suddenly change because they have fear of retaliation of the fanatics. So they all need to be together against the Jew, because if not, you are considered a kafir, so unloyal to the Islam. So they use this. And so the people that they are moderate, they don't expose themselves too much, because then they have the fear of retaliation that they would kill the Libyan themselves. So this is how they use it. If you don't go, if you are not with us, you are against us, you are with the Jewish, you are a Zionist, you are from the Mossad, you are against the Palestinian, our brother, and all the narrative that we know over and over. So this is how they use it, the population, and continue to use it. And this is how Gaddafi still got a lot of power, because he demonized Israel and said Israel want always to invade not only Palestine but also Libya. So this is in 67. I had a normal day. I was going to school, going to the synagogue, go to buy the food with the market, helping my father. My father had a shop, a jewelry shop. So we had the house and the shop, and we go. It was a nice life for the place, but always you need to be really vigilant that suddenly something can happen. So you would never feel relaxed. Always you could say they would come and just disturb. They really molest so many women. They would try to steal, to kidnap the young lady. There is a father of Clemente. He saved 52 young girls to be forced to convert to Islam and to marry Islam. So they would just kidnap them. So this is why they needed to stay always at home, the girl, and also the men. They were molested also as well, the children, because the Arab, they could not have relationship with the Arab woman because they need to marry them. So before that, they didn't know what to do with their sexuality. So this is how to arrive a place that the fear was not only about political aspect, not only about religious aspect, but the fear also just the sexual aspect. And many women that I spoke also during the interview, they are so angry about what they've been passing through in order not to be molested and violated. And unfortunately, this happened to many people. So then this is the Shabbat we were together, the holiday. Then the people go and have a nice time near the beach, spending the time together. Many they went to study university in Italy or in England or in the United States. So the wealthy people there were many wealthy people, but there was also a lower class that would live in the area. It's called the Hara Kbira or Hara Zrera, the Jewish quarter, the little one and the big one. So then they normally, when they upgrade, they would move more in the modern side, where is the king house. So this would be the place where they would move there. But there are people that come. The people that come Jewish, that come from Turkey, the family Barki, the Chacham Basha, many people came also from Livorno, from Italy. They came from a different background and different places. So Tripoli means three polis, three city. So it was a place where business with the port, the Jewish would really expand and build. And then in '64 arrived the industry of the oil, and then Libya became very strong. Before the declaration of Libya, Israel was the one who gave the vote to the United Nations that Libya would be voted and be independent. So then they had, like, for 3 years, it was a honeymoon. You can have a Maccabi, you can have the Zionist place, the people would go and travel. But then after the Arab League started, they decided to go against all this. And so also King Idris, he invited the 10 Nazi people in 1960, in order to know how to exterminate the Jew. So King Idris at the beginning was okay, but then he turned to be against because he had the influence from the Arab League. So the hate started and became worse. I want to say that in the second pogrom in 1948, after that they suffered so much in 1945 because they tried to kill the Jew, and they killed many Jews. The second one, they organized the Haganah, they organized themselves in order not to be killed. So they started to fight and they were prepared. So they did not want to be again a victim. So, and they start also the Aliyah, all the process of Aliyah, and the people start to say, this is not a place where you can stay. And also, if someone wanted to go to travel, to say, I want to go to Italy, they would say, okay, you can go, but you need to leave here 1 hostage or 2 hostages. So they would not allow you to go because maybe you would go in Israel. So and then you would have a lot of trouble. So you need to pay people in order to get the visa. We didn't have passport. We had just a travel document. So it was not easy to move, and the money, it was not easy to keep it. So it was not easy life, but it was a good life because you have so many opportunities. But one thing important was missing. It was the freedom. It was the security, the freedom of religion. It was always be tolerate, and then suddenly something could happen. So you never would stay relaxed. And this is what happened, to give an example, in 1967.
La loro storia viene da lontano. La comunità ebraica di Libia era una delle più antiche affacciate sul Mar Mediterraneo, con 40 sinagoghe e 2 Hara, i quartieri ebraici, animati da una vivace vita sociale e diversi circoli ricreativi. Dopo secoli di mutuo rispetto e amicizia tra concittadini di fedi diverse, 2 pogrom segnano la definitiva tragica rottura tra ebrei e arabi di Libia. Nel 1945 il primo, e poi nel 1948, quando nasce lo Stato di Israele, centinaia di vecchi, donne e bambini ebrei vengono trucidati, le loro case date alle fiamme, le sinagoghe saccheggiate. Inizia l'esodo dei 40.000 ebrei. Ne rimangono 5.000, ma solo fino al 1967, quando in Israele scoppia la guerra dei 6 giorni, caccia all'ebreo. L'ultimo pogrom dura 40 giorni e cancella da Tripoli la comunità ebraica. I 5.000 profughi fuggono grazie a un ponte aereo che li disperde tra Roma e Tel Aviv.
La guerra dei 6 giorni provocò in tutto il mondo arabo un violento pogrom antisemita che in Libia divenne caccia all'uomo, caccia all'ebreo, e l'infanzia di David Gerbi venne travolta.
So this is, as I said before, this is like what's happened. Let's close here. Okay, this is what's happened suddenly. So what I had in front of my house, and this is, I will explain you why this symbol is important. And I explain also the concept of the trauma. What is a trauma? Trauma is something that stops us to grow and to feel completely our emotion. And we don't know, but there is something that inside ourselves stop to grow and stop to express. There is something that is shocking us, but we are not aware of it. So this scene that's happened, what they did it, in order they come with all the people, they come on the street to search for you and to try to kill you. How they did it, the system, they took the oil, they put the oil, they burned the house, the shop, so the smoke will go up, they burn the cars, will explode, so all the smoke would go up, so the people would be forced to come out from the house, and it would be the end for them. So some of the Jews, they went on the top of the building in order not to breathe the smoke, but it was terrible. So I show you what's happened. Until today, I spoke with another person and he told me, until now, I can smell the smoke, never went away. And another person that he was the son of our journalist, the director of the newspaper, the most important, he was Marcello Ortona, zichrono livracha, and the son, he was there with the bicycle going out from the school to run at home. He went there and he can never forget about the smoke. So then what's happened after 40 days, then King Idris, after they realized that actually they didn't win the war, gave us the opportunity and say, okay, we cannot guarantee your security here. If you want, you can go and go for 3 months until everything will be calm. So here is the King Idris.
Fratelli, non toccate gli ebrei, tornate a casa, non rovinate la nostra reputazione, non macchiatevi le mani di sangue ebraico.
5 giugno 1967, Israele lancia un'offensiva aerea a sorpresa a larga scala su Egitto, Siria e Giordania. Immediatamente la guerra dei 6 giorni scatena le proteste del mondo arabo contro gli ebrei. A Tripoli le manifestazioni anti-ebraiche degenerano presto, case e negozi vengono devastati, i beni confiscati, chi esce in cerca di cibo viene trucidato.
Sorry, one moment, I opened the door, sorry. Okay, Lynn?
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, okay, okay. So David has actually interviewed a lot of survivors of the trauma that they experienced in Libya. I think he's done 22 interviews. I was just saying you've done interviews with survivors from the trauma in Libya.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a very valuable addition to the historical record, as well as helping those people themselves get over their trauma. Is that right?
Yeah, I show you just what one of these person just wrote me an SMS, Mimo Hayun. This is what he wrote, but it says, thank you for the great day that we spent. He could express his trauma because he told me that he was on the ship when they ran away. So there came a man, a policeman, that he said, I'm gonna throw you out on the ship and you will die. And then he just gave a strong slap on his, so strong, and he told me, until today, until he's maybe 75, until today, I can feel here the warmth of how strong he did it. And he said the miracle, it was that I did not react, I did not speak, and I did not move. Then when he saw this, the police went away. But I told him, why until now is so painful for you? Then he told me, because until now I feel the hate in that slap, and it's on me. So, but now he wrote me that he feel better because he realized why, and so he start to realize is a release. So now I will show you here is the permission when he say, okay, you can go, but you cannot bring with you more than 20 sterling, 20 pounds.
This is the king.
Yeah, the king that help us. With one luggage and 20 pounds.
Re Idris di Libia aveva acconsentito alla partenza di tutti gli ebrei, ma solo con una valigia e 20 sterline a testa. Con un ponte aereo, le oltre 5.000 persone della comunità di Tripoli lasciano tutto e partono per Roma.
So this is the arrival, and I show prima the manifestation, what we had. And here, just to give you an idea that from that moment on, we have been considered refugee from United Nations High Commission for Refugee. And this is not, I want to just to say something that the people don't know about this. And I discovered because we had the refugee certificate, but what's happened to the people that went to Israel, they have this system that when you arrive there, you are not anymore a refugee, you become Oleh Hadash, a new immigrant. So they jump this. But what's happened with the Palestinian, they take the refugee certificate, they pass from generation to generation.
Yeah, as we know, yeah.
And so this is why in the Knesset has been voted in 2014 that it will be a day of refugee. So now we have every year the day of refugee of a Jewish from Arab country and Iran. So
absolutely, yeah, it's a day which we at Harif commemorate every year, yeah, and have been doing since 2014.
Yes. Yes. So this, at least we have this. But what's happened, this is you can see the certificate of refugee. So because in Israel, when I say I'm a refugee, they say impossible. There are not Jew refugees. Say I am a refugee, I have it, I received in Italy. So no. They start to discuss a big discussion. Then I show them this one. Those are the name of my father, my mother, and all the family. You saw this?
Yes. So that's your official document.
Official document recognized.
The word refugee.
Yes. This is the school where we were. This is, you already saw it. So, but we moved from one day to another, from being not very good position of being dhimmi citizen with all the not the rights, but to move to a place of refugee where you are rejected. You need to run away from a country that doesn't recognize you with all your rights, in spite of all the contribution that the Jewish community were giving and helping to become an independent state. In spite of this, we needed to go away and to beg to be a refugee and not to be recognized, because we need to spend many years before we get our Italian citizenship, because we made through the lawyers just a protest, because being Libya an Italian colony, we were supposed to be considered as Italian citizens. So they gave our citizenship and said we moved from a place of being with a stateless document with the Italian citizenship. And this would open the door to do all kind of activity. And thanks God, the Jewish Libyan Jew, when we arrived here, it was one kosher butcher, and they have 2 or 3 synagogues. Now we have maybe more than 25 synagogues. We have 6 or 7 synagogues with the Libyan liturgy. We have more than 15 butcher, where the Libyan Jew brought here more halacha and more observance, and still keep the diversity of the Libyan Jewish roots. Then they marry between the Libyan Jew and the Roman Jew or Italian Jew, and there is a mixture. But at the beginning, it was not so easy to have an harmony, because like the Libyan Jew were seen as a threat to the business, because they could expand as much as they wanted, but this did not happen in Libya. So, but when they start to marry and having children, suddenly the situation changed. Like my sister, so the situation changed. So you cannot be anymore a competitor, if we want to use a nice word, but you can be together as a big family. So, and it's been integrated also, because the Libyan Jewish community, they knew already how to, we never had like a fanatic, or we never had like Orthodox. We never had a rabbi that they were paid, or president of Jewish community that were paid. It was doing all in a voluntary work, in a humble way. So the people were very easy integrate, and they could put in harmony the modern and the tradition, being in the world and being also Jewish, both.
Would you say the Libyan Jews have revived or invigorated the existing Italian community?
Yes, I tell you 2 things. Because the Italian, they suffer, you know, in the Jewish ghetto in the 16th of October, they took 1,500 Jews and they brought it to the concentration camp, and they died. But only 16 remain, and they came back. So they were devastated from the Holocaust. So it was like only in 45, then we arrive in 67, we are talking about 20 years later. So they did not really readjust themselves. They lost many people, they were depressed. So they starting, if you come today in the Jewish area, now is like blossoming, full of restaurant. The Jewish food is, we have a place for that make cookies. Boccione is very famous from all over the world. You have a queue until you get the food from there. So now is a big place. Before you could buy a house there very cheap, but now it become important. So all the roots and the history, we have a guide tours, we have a museum in the synagogue. So at that time was not like this. Then you consider in 56 arrive a community of Egyptian Jew, because of the Canal-Suez War. So then the Jewish community, like they just came out from 45. So in 56 arrived the Egyptian. It was for them, they didn't have money to help. So it was a joint and Hayas that helped, but they really didn't have much money. So when we arrived, the Jewish community of Rome were afraid that we would ask money, but I spoke with the responsible of that time, may he rest in peace, Bruno Portaleone. He say, we were so happy when you arrived. At the beginning, we were scared that you will ask money because we didn't have money. But when you say, we don't want money, we want to do all by ourselves. So they were so relieved for them. And for the Jewish Libyan, they were like happy to be independent. So now
So David, sorry to rush you, but can we go forward to 2011, the Arab Spring? What made you decide to return to Libya?
I tell you, and I will write just the one slide and tell you what's happened to me, and then I will show you I will answer the question. This is what's happened. My motivation is happened here, how everything started.
Yes. Motivated a lot of people. So 10 years after 9/11, you decided to go to Libya.
This 9/11, I was just coming out from the gastroenterologist and having a cup of espresso. And then I saw this image. And when I saw this image about, as I told you before, the smoke, everything that I had inside myself came out like a bottle of champagne. So I almost fall in the floor. They gave me a chair and say, what's happened? What's happened? I was not aware really what was happening. But then I needed to go back to my psychoanalyst and to elaborate on this. Then I say, I cannot anymore see the Intifada 1, Intifada 2, and all this terror attack, all these people, Israel, they died. I say, but my father died sad because he lost everything, and he want to be like the father that hold the family. Say, and the Jewish community. So we lost everything, but we never became a terrorist. So we lost everything, but we start from scratch. We lost everything and we didn't hate. So why all this hate? Why all this? So then from that moment on, I say, okay, I got to do something. And from a coincidence, I discovered that I had an aunt that she was the last Jew of Libya living in a elder house. So then I meet Gaddafi. Here's my meeting. I have my Libyan Jew outfit.
Meeting Gaddafi.
Yeah.
Did you say anything to him? Did he say anything to you?
Yeah, that it's okay, that because I help what's happened to Lockerbie, I go there now. So here's another moment. Here's also we after we talk, then here he has this tent that is very famous, the tent of Gaddafi, or the Bedouin tent. So here is with the tent. So I spoke and I say to him, okay, I have the last Jew of Libya. This is my aunt. You can see in her face, she is absent. This is Noura, is the nurse that she
How old was your aunt then? How old was she?
80 years. She stayed there. Her name is Debashrina. My mother name is Debashdina. Mm-hmm. So she needed, and I will arrive to your question, Lynn. I didn't forget, and keep me the time because you're good in this. So, because I want you to understand, I want that everything that I say, it makes sense. I don't want to jump from one place and to jump an episode that you will not understand. And I try to be as fast as possible and as concise as possible, but I want you to understand the story. If not, it doesn't make sense. So I pray so much that I would go back to Libya and I want to do something. So God pleased me, and in 2000 it happened exactly in 2001. And then when it happened, I went to Libya in 2011, but I went to Libya 1 year after, and 8 years after, and 10 years after. So
Right.
I went there 4 times.
4 times.
Four
Right.
times. So the 4 times they tried to finish me in many different styles, or to put me from the window, or to try to kill me with the. I know all the strategy of the intelligence they have. Thanks God, God protect me, so they did not succeed. I'm talking with you is a good sign.
Absolutely. So they tried to push you out of the window.
Not only out of the window, and then to sign that you may commit suicide, they just very easy, or to try to enter in the room with the excuse that you want to have a bottle of water or something, but then they take the pillow, suffocate you, and then they say that you have a heart attack and the certificate, and it's finished. So
did they actually try to suffocate you?
Yes, they tried to come inside the room, but I discovered before. I don't want to keep saying many, take a long time, but those stories are my miracles, that I am alive. And they didn't know, because they told me in the elevator, they told me, they watching my eyes, say, you know that tonight they're gonna kill you. Just want to inform you. Have a good day.
Oh my goodness.
Then I met them you meet them in the hotel, they tell you like this. It's not like they're gonna kill you easy. They try to just, but then every time God sent me a sign, a messenger, and something happened. I really don't want to keep the time with this, but are miracles. So what's happened that Gaddafi told me, you want to have your aunt, you need to help us to normalize the relationship with USA. So I went back to Rome and I told the chief rabbi, and I met my aunt, and my aunt told me, I want to come out with you. I want to come out. But when I met her, she was in a state of lethargy. Then they told me she doesn't speak, never. And she was like this. Then I start to talk, being in flour, perfume, chocolate, but she doesn't move. Then the doctor and the bodyguard told me, and the nurse say, okay, you can stay with 5 minutes with her alone, and maybe you can see. So I took this. This is the Shaddai,
yes,
the name of God with the Star of David, and I I put it in her neck, and then she reacted and she said to me, what did you put on my neck? And then I answer in Arabic, and I say, this is the Shaddai, this is the name of God. And then she looked at me, opened her eyes more, like investigating. The son of who you are? Then I say, Ana Wildin Dina, Dina Lahalj. Dina, Lianda Hashmaita. Dina is the mother that has a nose a little bit like this. Say, yes, I am. And I start to talk, and suddenly she woke up. She woke up.
Amazing.
And then it was like a miracle. The doctor say, how you did it? What's happened? Then she said, I'm coming with you. I want to go away from here. I come with you to Palestine, she told me. Because the time Israel, they will call it Palestine. I say, because I needed to take her out, because what's happened to our 2,000 years old cemetery, this is what Gaddafi did. You see the towers? This was our cemetery. They destroyed, and they put the tower on it and the highway. Here the rabbi, the great people we have there, grandparents, grandparents, they destroy everything. So many people suffer a lot. There is one woman that the mother just lost the son, so she wanted to go and pray in the cemetery. She not only couldn't go because he was in Italy, she hoped all the time that she would go back and pray there. And actually, when they destroyed the cemetery, this mother was devastated, because the hope was totally over. So then Gaddafi told me, okay, if you want to do something, I visited, this was the shop of my father. He gave me the possibility to see. I was inside. The owner was scared for me. He say, what do you want? You want it back? You know, I have 6 children. We are 8. I say, you know what this means? If you take it back, what am I going to do in my life? I say, I didn't ask you this, but I don't think that I know what it means to be without nothing. We pass all this. Then he was very afraid of me, but because I had the bodyguard. But they just go inside and took all the property. So this is why they say they want to have it back, Palestinian and all these things. And by the way, Gaddafi always made this narrative that say, I confiscate everything to the Jew in order, because the Libyan Jew who went to Israel, they took to the Palestinian. I say, okay, if you want to really confiscate and give it, why you don't give all the property to the Palestinian? You just keep it for the Libyan. So it was all a narrative. So this was the synagogue you talk about. And this is, he gave me say, okay, you can restore the synagogue, give the permission, because the agreement was, I give you the ant, you find me a contact with USA, and to normalize the relationship between, because of what's happened with the Lockerbie in 1988 in Scotland.
Right. Yeah. Just to explain to those who don't know about Lockerbie. Lockerbie was a plane that there was a plane Pan Am flight. That's right. And a Libyan terrorist had a bomb on it or something.
Libyan intelligence planted the bomb on the plane.
Right, he planted a bomb on the plane. It exploded over the Scottish town of Lockerbie, killing all the passengers in the plane.
And some people on the ground.
And some people on the ground, right.
Exactly. So because of this, it was the embargo. Until then, it was the embargo, so they couldn't have anything. So it was, Gaddafi was very much in danger. So he was afraid why it was important for him to use me, because he wanted to have some help, because he was in the list of the terrorist country, the blacklist of USA, that after Saddam Hussein, he will be next. So he was so afraid of this. In fact, then it's happened later, 2-3 months later, it's happened with Saddam Hussein. So they asked me when I was there, after I see my aunt, I came to Rome, I spoke with the rabbi, the chief rabbi told me, okay, what he want a connection to normalize the relationship, and to pay the victim of Lockerbie to meet in London or in Rome. So I spoke with Musa Kusa, the head of the national security, the ambassador of Italy, that it was Hafez Gadur. So they want, and the Italian government say, if you can help to normalize the relationship, because they would believe a Jew and say, why they would believe me? Because Gaddafi had been treating me as a VIP. I had like the car. I felt like I was like a minister or diplomatic. Everywhere we go, everybody was like a bow to me and licking me and having so nice. I say, wow. I remember running away that they want to kill us, and then now everybody's so nice with me. So at the end, I went 3 months. September, I was there from 5th September to 12th of September. Then I went to Rome, and I say that I want to bring my aunt. They say, you cannot bring it out. You need first to help us to normalize the relationship. This was the agreement. Then they told me, okay, the Italian embassy and the Italian government, they asked me to do something, because if I would go to the United States and to talk with the lobby, the American lobby, they wouldn't believe anyone but a Jew who went there and has an aunt, so they would believe this. So the chief rabbi sent me to Elie Wiesel in New York, and Elie Wiesel and David Harris and Malcolm Hoenlein and all those people of the lobby of the American Jewish, the Anti-Defamation League, the Joint, the highest. I went everywhere to find someone that are available to meet with the Gaddafi. Mm-hmm. After 3 months of searching, I met also one of the astronauts who went who went to the moon in '69. So from all those people that because they say,
was he helpful?
he helped me because he has the Noetic Science Institute. Everybody gave me a step to move forward. And then I arrived in Washington, D.C. to the office of Tom Lantos, and Tom Lantos, the congressman, Zichrono Livracha, took this mission. He went, he met Gaddafi. Gaddafi wanted to meet a Jew, so he went there. He showed his arm with the number of being in a concentration camp. So they start all the negotiation about compensation to the victim. So they agree compensation to the family of the victim. They start the normalization. In 2001, in 2002, I took my aunt. It took me 13 months. After they normalized the relationship, I could take my aunt. My aunt, here you see, arriving now at the airport.
And this was in Israel or in Italy?
In Italy, when I brought my aunt from Tripoli, the last Jew of Libya, leaving Tripoli, and after they are waiting for my aunt. I translate a little, okay? Those two women are my mother, rest in peace, and my aunt, rest in peace. This person arrived very late. I remember her 40 years ago. I never saw her. We thought that she was dead. She was dead.
And there she is.
And she is, yes. The last Jew of Libya.
And was she speaking normally at that point?
Arabic. This is me when I have still my black hair.
Very nice. Amazing. So the deal was that you would be able to open up the synagogue. Is that what Gaddafi promised you?
I will tell. So I stop here, this one. What did you say?
About the synagogue. At what point did you go and try and open up the synagogue? Wasn't this part of the deal that Gaddafi promised?
Yes, but he didn't keep the promise.
Yeah.
But this is just show you, finished. This is when we had the picture, is important picture because this is the Italian government. This one here is the Libyan government. And here are the Jews in Rome. Right. So this is never happened since 1967. So this is why I want to show this. Then here, after 40 years of 40 days, she died, and I bought it.
That's all.
And so but now she buried in Petah Tikva. And here is written the last Jew of Libya that has been brought thanks to the nephew David Gerbi.
Oh, so you get an honorable mention. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, when I saw it, I was a little bit impressed to see my name in a grave.
You've been immortalized.
And then after this, start all the issue that they invite me to go there and to start to do all the work of the synagogue. But then, and because I make a play, Making Peace with Gaddafi, I made also a book and I present in South Africa. They invite me to go there. And then it did not go the way that really I wanted, because they took me and they tried to put me in jail again. It was in 2007. So this is, then I couldn't speak. They told me, if you speak, you will gonna get so many problems. They throw me out from Libya after 21 days in 2007. They've been treated as a VIP. And I ran away to stay 3 months in Israel because they want to kill me. So they try to, with the car, with the taxi, with car accidents. So I needed to leave. Then in Israel, the Jerusalem Post, the Jerusalem Report, I spoke with them. They told me, if you don't speak up, look, you will get sick. You need to speak up. If you don't speak up, it's like it never happened. No one will know. So I speak up, and then here is the article where it came out. Force for peace between the Jews and the Jewish people. Now he wants justice. So I start to speak up. I didn't care anymore. This is what he promised the synagogue, that I was there and I came inside in the synagogue. But then here's the outside of the synagogue. So, and this is the end of the article. Then after I did so much noise, so the ambassador told me, okay, we will give you everything. What I had with me, that I was so angry, I brought with me 6 mezuzot so big. Just the best, most expensive they have in Jerusalem. You know, the rabbi, they do this ritual every time that there is a name of God, they go and they do the mikveh and then came out and put all the kavanah, the intention. So I felt so honored to have this. When they throw me out, they confiscate me the mezuzot. And until now, I think that what they did is avera against God. They paid the price. I think that those mezuzot, until now, they will not find peace. Because
the mezuzot have cast a curse on them.
Yeah, exactly. What they did was because they came to do something to bring the blessing and the kedusha and the light there. They did the opposite. So then it's happened that they told me, okay, let's reconcile. But then they call me and they say, no, Gaddafi want to kill all the other people. So they asked me to go back because I wanted the hospital and to go in 2011 if I can go and help them to work with the traumatized people in the hospital. So the Italian government gave me this paper. This is a verbal note to go there, and it was in the May 15, 2011. Right. So I arrived from Egypt. So I fly from Rome to Cairo to Alexandria, then Dar es Salaam. Then I took the car. No one knew that I was doing something like this. I was alone. It was very dangerous because it was no one and everybody was running away from Libya. So I was arriving there. And this is the part when I work in the hospital. I will go in the half.
Ex-Caib, 48, massimo 72 ore, e Brega sarà riconquistata, assicurano. Ma c'è un pericolo ancora più sottile da sconfiggere, è l'intolleranza reciproca a cui il colonnello ha abituato il suo popolo con 42 anni di lavaggio del cervello, religiosi contro laici, tribù contro tribù e soprattutto Israele. Ecco perché in questo momento di transizione il lavoro di quest'uomo, David Gerbi, assume una valenza particolare. Lui è un ebreo libico-italiano, costretto a scappare dalla Libia a causa della persecuzione sistematica fatta dal regime sugli ebrei.
Sono venuto qua la prima volta nel 2002 per portare via fuori l'ultima ebrea di Libia, che era mia zia Rina Debash. In quell'occasione mi hanno chiesto se potevo aiutare a creare un rapporto con gli Stati Uniti. Per ringraziarmi, poi nel 2007 mi hanno invitato come uomo di pace, poi invece sono venuti gli agenti segreti, mi hanno preso, mi hanno confiscato tutto, mi hanno arrestato.
Gheddafi non si è mai fatto scrupolo di utilizzare le persone per il proprio tornaconto e David non fa eccezione, però nonostante tutto ha deciso di tornare qui in questo momento di transizione per aiutare la sua gente, qui all'ospedale psichiatrico di Bengasi.
Sono ritornato qua perché ho deciso di venire a dare una mano al dottor Ali, che è il direttore di questo ospedale psichiatrico, perché io so come si lavora con i traumi dovuti alla guerra.
Il lavoro di riconciliazione fra le varie anime della Libia è appena iniziato. Forse il paese, alle prese con i tanti problemi legati alla guerra, avrà bisogno di tempo per accettare il vecchio nemico di sempre. Ma ogni piccolo passo, ogni piccola conquista è già di per sé una rivoluzione. Monica Peruzzi, Sky TG24, Bengasi, Libia.
Very good. So they wouldn't really try and kill you at that stage, since you were coming to help them. And
yeah, this is what happened. But actually, and this is what's happened now, I show you that they told me, okay, because since you are a good man, and at that stage when they had a discussion in the hospital if it was kosher to have a psychologist who is a Jew. So it was a part that they would say, no, it's kosher because he's Libyan. The other one would say, no, it's not kosher because he's a Jew. But the other one would say, well, okay, he's a Libyan Jew. So it was a discussion. So they didn't want to have a Jew, but they want to have a Jew. They say, I met Mustafa Abdul Jalil, the leader, twice. And they say, okay, you can be part of the parliament to represent the Libyan Jew. But then something happened, shifted. And then he told me, I say, what shall I do now? I say, okay, go to Tripoli and wait there. It was the time of to pray, because it was Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. And they say, okay, what are you going to do? I say, do whatever you want. I say, there is a synagogue. Can I go and pray in the synagogue? I say, do whatever you want. We are now busy to capture Gaddafi. Go there, wait, and we will call you back. I went there with a red carpet, people of the parliament, a very important man, and blah, blah, blah. But at the end, when I was there, I found a wall, and I needed to go inside. To go inside, you need a ladder. Full of garbage, full, completely full of garbage. And I say, okay, how can I do this? Then they say, Kassal Khayt. It means break the wall and take it out the garbage. I say, okay. Then I buy things to break the wall. But it was something happened, shift in the night. So at the beginning, they were all agree, but when they discovered that there come a Libyan Jew, this is what's happened.
So can we see some pictures of what it looked like?
What's happening in the synagogue, you mean?
Yes, of you breaking down the door, the wall?
Yeah, yes.
So the media were following you at this point, because I remember you got a lot of mainstream coverage.
Yeah, what's happened that when I was there, I did not mean to get the media, but what's happened is they start to say, this is the narrative. They say, oh, there is one Jew. Then they say, no, it's not one Jew. There are many Jews, they're coming. And then they say, it came Israel army to Libya to conquer Libya. So everybody arrived around the synagogue. So we'll see.
And why was it in this state, the synagogue? I mean, since when was it in this state? Since World War II? Since 48?
Yeah.
Justice.
100 years.
The Arab.
Next year it will be 100 years.
If the black, if the gay, or the Tuareg, no matter what, we all need to be together, one people. I did not want that the name of God, it is the name of Jewish people, the name of Christian people, is the God of the Muslims, is not permitted to stay in the middle of this garbage. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of myself, for I feel my dignity. My smile is coming back. So I'm moved. I have emotion. I'm not emotionally disconnected or totally stuck with my fear of retaliation or disempowered because Gaddafi going to be coming and killing me. I feel much more powerful. Maybe I'm a little fat, but I'm powerful. I was trying to start to clean the synagogue this morning. And they say to me, we need to close the synagogue again because the people are coming here with the gun and they want to kill you. This is a symbolic act. Like yesterday, it was open and now it's closed again. And the same story is repeating from generation and generation and generation.
Receive threats, David?
Yes. They told me that
what did they say? What are they saying?
They told me that if I'm not leaving, now they will come and they're gonna kill you. They're gonna kill me because they don't want the Jewish here.
We're going back. Yes, let's go right now.
His is the one.
Let's go right now.
Okay.
You can talk to them later at the hotel.
Today they don't want the Jew. Tomorrow they will not accept the black from the Gadames, and the day after tomorrow they don't accept the Amazigh language, and then they don't gonna accept the Tuareg. So it's gonna be again discriminations. I didn't come to ask give me back. I just come one thing, just to clean this synagogue. This is what I wanted to do, and I was helping Libya. I want to help, but I'm not gonna give up my dignity, my Jewish dignity. What Gaddafi did, he want to eliminate the diversity. They need to include the diversity. You want democracy, you want freedom, you want justice, you want pluralism, you want social rights, you need to take all the package. This is the time for them to speak up and take a position and say, okay, we are with our Libyan brother. Who cares if they're Jewish, Muslim, or Christian? This is a symbol of a concrete possible reconciliation between the Jew and the Muslim. This place was a place where Muslim and Jew coexist together in peace.
Free Libya.
Is there real democracy here right now?
No.
So this is what's happened after that I did what I did. It was a moment that I like to share with you, the miracle, the moment of miracle. This is what's happened. The Friday, they organized a day of protest in all Libya against a mass demonstration against the Jew, against me. I was the only one there.
Wow.
So this was this demonstration. After this demonstration, I was inside of the synagogue and I didn't know what to do. This is what I did. I learned from my mother, and this is the miracle that I like to share with you. I learned from my mother and grandmother, Zichrono Livracha, to light a candle every day. And so I light the candle while they try to attack me and killing me. So
Se dovessi camminare nella valle tenebrosa della morte, non temerei alcun male, perché tu sei con me. Il tuo bastone e il tuo vincastro mi danno sicurezza.
And the light. So Rabbi Meir Baal Nes, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Eliyahu Hanavi. So I've been praying while all around they want to attack and kill. So this is what's happened. This miracle is that they came to me and say, okay, let's go out from the back door so they are not going to kill you. And their boss, they have their own kind of leader, say, okay, yes, let's go around and it will be nice. Then I say, you will be safe. I didn't trust, and I felt at the beginning, after I light the candle, I felt that I was full of fear. Then the fear went back out, and the faith started to come up. I was not like myself anymore. So I decided to say, okay, you know what? If I need to die, I want to die with a bullet in front of my eyes. I don't want to run away. It didn't feel right. So this is what I did. When I came out, the man, the sheikh that it was with me, he ran away and he was not with me anymore. Then around me, I find all the journalists around me with the microphone to interview before that they're going to be killed, because it was a scoop. Once I'm dead, at least they're going to have something spicy to say. Oh, I interviewed him. I knew this, but I've been an actor. I understood this, but I was so relaxed after pray. The only worry that I had, I say, if I'm going to die, I'm going to really create a trouble for my mother. This was my only concern. So I pray God not to kill me because I will be in trouble with my mother. And so, the Jewish mother. So at the end, I start to speak, and the bodyguard were around all the journalists, and I had the journalists in front of me, the bodyguard around. So I was talking, and then I took them in the hotel. In the hotel, I knew that in the mezzanine it was all the media. So I made a spectacular interview so that I will get all the attention. And because I got all the attention, they could not kill me anymore. And this is how then that the CNN arrived.
David Gerbi was just in his very early teens when he left Libya. Like the last and most of the Jews here, they left Libya during, or by 1967, really, a couple of years before Muammar Gaddafi came to power. The Arab-Israeli war, the Six-Day War, as it's sometimes known, really divided Arab and Jews in the region, and he left. And when he left behind everything, the old community, the synagogue that his parents went to. And he thought with Muammar Gaddafi leaving that he would have, or being beaten out of power, that he would have the chance to come back and reopen that synagogue and go back there and pray again. And we were there when he began to knock down the wall that was blocking the door of the synagogue. This was supposed to be the hard part.
All the Libyan Jews need justice.
Oh dear.
Not giving up. Breaking down the bricks, blocking entry to his old synagogue. But for David Gerbi, a 56-year-old Libyan Jew, returning from almost a lifetime in exile, the dream of praying where his parents worshipped is becoming a nightmare. So you're sort of stuck in the hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a kind of a prison, but it's also safe.
When I meet him 4 days later, he is a virtual prisoner in his hotel.
They don't want the Jew here. They don't want to open the synagogue, so it starts to become a big issue. They are coming back.
Today, can you walk the 100 yards to go to the synagogue now?
No, I don't think so. It's not going to be safe.
Death threats, demonstrations, even a Facebook campaign against him, all ignited since he broke down the door. We try to help the people to feel good. We can make them feel good. It all contrasts with the messages he shows me, scrawled in his notebook, as this psychiatrist helped in hospitals here during the war against Gaddafi. So these are very nice messages you were getting back then.
Yes. And they all turned the shoulder. The people that used to hug me and talk to me, my best friend in the TNC, they don't call me.
How do you feel about that?
It's a normal sense of betrayal.
Let down, he says, by rebel leaders, the TNC, the National Transitional Council, who he fears are in danger of following Gaddafi's anti-Semitic lead.
They need to understand from the beginning, if we invest all this money, energy, and the international community invest in a real democracy, they need to know from the beginning that they need to accept also the freedom of religion. They cannot throw you out because you are Jewish.
Is there real democracy here right now?
No. They need to make a decision, because to play duplicity, it will not last forever.
Gerbi says a National Transitional Council spokesman accuses him of being premature and provocative in his demands. And this letter from the Department of Archaeology accuses him of breaking law number 3, of breaking down the wall without permission. But just a few blocks away in the hotel, Gerbi says he'll wait here until his demands are met, that he gets to practice his religion in its place.
All right, so Nick, what is happening on that front?
Can I stop you there? Sorry.
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
This was his feelings.
How do you feel now watching that? Do you feel it was all a wasted effort? Do you think you achieved something? I mean, what was it all for?
Well, what do I feel that I achieve is a paradox, but I achieve an experience of God. This is the biggest achievement, because I saw God in action in so many miracle coincidences. that like when the night when they were all around my hotel, I was inside and I was sure it was the end. They came because they want to invade the hotel, take me in the hotel that you saw in the night. They were all there suddenly, and it was Yom Kippur. So the Italian consul told me, come down, they want to talk with you. But I knew that if I come down, they will come and just take me. I didn't say it's Yom Kippur, I will not come, I need to pray. So I pray very strong. And what's happened, it's unbelievable. It's happened that suddenly a strong wind, strong wind arrived, and I was in a very high floor. I start to feel that it's so strong, the wind, that moved the hotel. And then I start to see that it starts raining slow and then so strong. And then the wind was so strong that I was in front of the water, in front of the sea. The sea went out. And so all the people that were there with the car, with the gun and everything, the water were just up. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:03, they left. So, and then this is something to explain something like this, to explain something like the tree candle. So it's not easy to understand if you don't have this experience. At the moment, what's happened is not between my fear and their way of acting against me because I'm Jew, but there is a God in presence, and I never felt. So for me, if I was thinking that I waste, no, I didn't waste. I think that I experienced the presence of God. It was the mission that I needed to do in that time. Maybe I was naive, maybe I was unconscious, maybe I was a useful idiot, whatever, but something happened. And today I know, and I'm interviewing so many people, and I know what they feel. And I know the Arab, if they want to have, this is why it's written peace builder, because if they want to have peace, I know exactly what to ask. I know exactly what condition to put. I don't buy one of the word that they say. So I know that in case they want to do, my interest with Libya today, it's only one interest. It's about the 2 cemetery that we have there, that I would like all to take the bones from there. And you saw in the video that they were like boxes with the bones. So I'm interested to take them and to cover them, or to do something for those 2 cemeteries. This is my main interest, because I know that as Jews we need to respect the dead and the alive, and also to keep a testimonial of so many years, of 2,000 years that the Jews were living there. It's like what the Gaddafi tried to destroy everything in order to say that never Jew went there. So for me, I am not interested. I met all the leaders, I met all the people, but it's only blah, blah, blah. I don't trust them. I would never go there to live there. I would go there if they prove me, if they apologize, really apologize for all the crime that they did to us, all the injustice that they create to our people, that I am a peace builder. Yes, of course that I'm a peace builder, but I'm not a useful idiot. I am a peace builder, but I want my right to give it back. You need to pay all the damage that you did, psychological and material. And I'm not talking about this because it's not going to get to me or to the nephew, but this is for me peace builder. But if until now there is no people to deal with, so I'm not wasting my life, my time with people that are not accountable. So it's like, why to waste life and time with people? So they need to come and beg to be in touch with us. I show you what I did with the law of 2018 with the King Filippo. You can see this.
Yes, you became a Spanish citizen.
Yeah, so I'm the only one in Italy or Europe that did this. And I did the exam, I studied 3 exams, 5 exams. I proved that I've been helpful for peace in the Mediterranean with the Toledo Pax and media. So, and they say, okay, so they give me the citizenship because I'm a Sephardi. So I did this because of the quote that you read. to show that, okay, it was something unfinished. You took out our citizenship, I take it back. And you want to give it back to us because you have economic convenience, because you know if you bring the Jew back, you're going to get again a good business, a good culture. The genius of culture, the genius of the economy is always coming from the Jew. Now you have also the genius of the startup and the genius of the security. It comes from thanks to Israel. So I know exactly what to ask. I'm not anymore acting as I used to act, unaware as a dhimmi citizen. Mm-hmm. I am not anymore. It's finished. All this is, even if it's come from the 7th century, that is instilled in our bones, is not there anymore, because I come from the Jewish people, from our grandfather, from Avraham Avinu. So all this pain that it was inside my bones, I did many years of therapy in order to get rid of this. So to be in a different place, and now I feel that I'm in a different place. So for me, to answer to your question, I'm very happy of what I did. I risked my life many times. Some people think that I am just a crazy man. Some people think that I'm a hero. Some people say, why you did something, but I don't care. There's something, a calling inside, the same calling that you have, Lynn, of doing Harif. You cannot explain why, but you need to follow what is your calling. We all have a calling. So I have my calling now. If you say to me to do it now, I would never do now. So because I'm in a different place, but there are stage. I don't know if I answered to your question.
Yeah, you did. And everybody, if anyone has a question, please do type it in the chat. And while we're waiting for that, I just wanted to ask you, do you think we have been too dhimmified, that nobody has actually asked the Libyans or the Arabs generally to apologize for what they did to the Jews? I mean, have we not been assertive enough? We've been behaving like dhimmis. Do you think in the future we should be more assertive?
It's a great question, really, Grace. I appreciate very much, Lynn, this question. Yes, I think you're right. I think that we have been dhimmi until this moment, that we did not have the right inside ourselves to feel the right to ask them to apologize for what they did. I think in the moment that we do this, there is a dhimmi no more. It's finished. When it's like, it will be like that German try to apologize for the 6 million. They will never get the apologies for the people that disappear, but at least they pay compensation. They send the nurses, German nurses, to Israel to help the elder people. They do all the effort to make any kind of reparation that you can never repair, but at least they did it. Merkel recognized all the negationists, people that negate the Shoah. So the Germany, they say, no, it's happened. So at least German did it. They did a great damage. For us, the dhimmi, it was a damage in the psyche. They just so strong, so cruel. It's like you always be lower, but the potential is starting to come out. But I actually invite you to start this campaign to ask in a way to ask so in the moment that we ask, they need to apologize and to need to give what they need to give us. So we are not dhimmi anymore. So we are bold.
Yeah. So you think we have this problem, we have this psychological problem of being dhimmi, and we have not got the confidence to ask of the Arab states to apologize, let alone give reparations or compensation and this sort of thing. But I mean, we are just individuals. Okay, so Harif is a little group, and you are one man. Who, don't we need institutions? Don't we need leaders? Do we need the Prime Minister of Israel to do this, or the Conference of Presidents in the US? I mean, who should do this? You know, somebody with power, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it should be Israel, first of all, like with the law of 2014, to move forward, to build with already what has been built. We do the Day of Refugee, and we prove what's happened, and then they need to make a declaration to apologize for what's happened and to make a monument or something, like if it's happened, maybe start with country that are less worse, like Morocco. Start with country like this to give an example. But I think it's very important. It's like the next step that make us feel equal. And because there is something that is called, that I grow up, is called the culture of silence. What is the culture of silence? It's not only, but I justify, because I remember my father say, no, don't say, because they, my habunesh, because they don't want us. If you protest, they will take a revenge against your neighbor.
Yes.
So you need to be quiet. You need to be quiet because the Libyan Jews, they were like kind of humble people. You need to be quiet because you don't need to be to expose yourself too much. Also, you need to be quiet and not to foment the evil eye, because the people can become envy. So you don't need to talk. So you cannot talk, because then it's lashon hara, because it's a gossip. So all this, boom, we have been bombarded of not talking. So the first time that I talk, when it happened with the Gaddafi, and in 2007, I say I was exploding inside, and then I learned that if I didn't talk, it's like never happened, because no one will know. And they would continue with this injustice. But if I would talk, it will be danger.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. Salute.
Grazie. So I decided to talk because I started to get sick. I couldn't sleep. I really get a very problem with my heart. And then I say, you know what? If I need to die, at least I die after that I spoke up.
Oh, no. Sorry, David, can you come out of your screen so we can see you properly? Come out of your share screen, Yeah.
What I do now, share screen. Interrompi. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. Okay. Sorry, there was a question from Carol, I think Carol Newman, who asked about the Libyan Jews in Israel. You know, how are they seen by society at large? What is their contribution?
The Libyan Jew, I just want to say hello to Barbara Cerminara that is there. Hello, Barbara. Hello.
Yes. Hello, Barbara.
The Libyan Jew in Israel, they're doing a great work, because there is a World Organization of Libyan Jew. They did a museum. And they try, there is a kind of a revival of the Libyan Jew, because some of them, there is another problem, because the Libyan Jew, with the issue of dhimmi that you brought up, I want to add something, and then I will continue to your question. I think there is a psychological problem between the Libyan from Arab country that has been so much used to be a dhimmi, that when they arrive in Israel, it was very easy to be under the Ashkenazi power. So, and in Israel, there is the Ashkenazi power and there is a Sephardi power, but always the Jewish of Arab country are second class, are dhimmi. So they are used to this pattern. So they just repeat the pattern that they use. And so the power has been since the beginning from Ashkenazi. They create the state of Israel, but there is also something that is true. But because we didn't have the university there where to go, you wouldn't go to study in an Arab university. So, but the they would be much higher. So there is also there the problem that is mixed. Today, there is just a strong Jew from Arab country that they want to raise their voice, and there are many Jews that start to be in the government. They start to speak up. We have Moshe Arbel, we have Moshe Kahlon, we have many Gila Lavitz. So there are many that they want to count also the Sephardi voice and the Mizrahi, as they call it, or the from our country. Now I'm in touch with the Museum of Bet Atfutzot. Now they call in a different way. They ask me to collect all this testimonial because they don't have enough material. And I do it in a conference where I make a questions. So this will go to add. So, and I don't want to diminish our culture, our Libyan culture, because it's not only about a good, that I love it, kitchen, like the couscous and the mafroum and the songs and the belly dance and the Jewish liturgy, but there are much more in the Jewish Libyan culture that can teach to other culture. There is so many good things, and most of them are from Libyan women that I really learned to see from my mother, my grandmother, the grandmother. They just to ve'avta l'recha kamocha is you can see on the Libyan Jewish woman is like also to be humbleness. That doesn't mean that they are not intelligent, but they just quiet, is modest. So, but in Israel, yes, there is. I don't know if I answered to your question.
Yes. I mean, in terms of culture, they have a lot to contribute.
Yes.
But I think one can say that the Netanyahu government, if you love him or hate him, at least he did more for this issue of justice for the Mizrahim than previous governments. We have to acknowledge that. But do you see the present government under Naftali Bennett being as active, if you like? I mean, have you got confidence in this present government?
I think it's very young without experience enough. And there is a change of the political aspect. We don't have any more Netanyahu. We don't have any more Trump. We have a new constellation. But we have to say that I'm very optimistic about the Abraham Accord that Netanyahu and Trump, because everybody demonized Trump, but actually, in my opinion, even if he has something that can be to exaggerate, but he did good things for Netanyahu and Trump. They did good things, but maybe the time for them it's over. Maybe it's time for a new energy to come and to face and solve the problem. But it's true what you say. He did more to be inclusive. I agree with you.
Okay. Well, at the moment, it looks like there's no one to talk to in Libya, because they seem to be at each other's throats. So perhaps we should maybe wait until they get their house in order.
Yeah, in the moment that they will see, they would be in touch with us and inconvenience only when they have the interest. But at the moment, there is no right person with whom to talk. Well, the last thing I did 2 months ago, that maybe you follow, it was that they wanted to convert the synagogue, the Al-Bishi synagogue. So I received the information from people that I trust, 2 or 3 of them, and the information was correct. And then with the help of the Italian embassy, French embassy, Spanish embassy, American embassy, English embassy, no, English no, but I received the support and they stopped to convert in the Islamic Center. But it was not easy because I need to do with a lot of media to cover with the media and also with the Knesset. But after there's been covered and I prove with the photo that I received after 7 times.
Yes.
So rejected. I received the support from people there. I had the proof, and then they needed to stop. And those are the people that they want to kill me when I was there 10 years ago, are the same people, the militia of the place.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
well, Mazel Tov on achieving that you stopped the synagogue becoming an Islamic center. And I think we have to draw this meeting to a close, but I think we're all in awe of you. I think for us, you are a hero. You've achieved so much and you are extremely brave. And I wish you all the best in whatever you decide, you know, in all your future peace building efforts.
When is your birthday? When is your birthday?
He wants to know when your birthday is.
It's 26th of May.
Oh, yeah. He thought you were,
No,
you were an Aries.
You're between the two of us. I'm slightly older and then slightly younger.
Anyway, no, and thank you everybody for your kind comments and for being with us. And we've had a wonderful evening with you, David. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone, and greetings to my friend Barbara and the husband. Thank you so much to everyone. I was really happy to be with you, and I'm happy that after the second vaccine, I'm still in good shape.
Yeah, and I'm really, really glad.
Yeah, because we decided to take a risk.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Thanks, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best.
All the best. All the best.
So every